So today's video is about something I thought was a little bit fun. It's about things that we just, thought were normal back in the 1960s. Remember, we do 19 and then 60, and then because it's an apostrophe S, I'm going to do an S and go this way, 1960s. And so I thought that was just kind of fun, as saying that it's, we thought, oh, it was, it's a luxury now, but back then it was just normal. And the first one on the list is homemade. We create, we make it. This is to create, this is to be creative and envision, an inventor, but this is to actually make something. And you do it with both hands like that to make it. So a home, remember this is home with the lips and the cheek, homemade family dinner. You can say supper, depends on which region. And because now most of the time, it's brought in, it's ordered, it's takeout, whatever. So that is something we don't see. And the second one on the list was affordable. Remember we said this is owe or due or something like that. You can, you get affordable means that you can pay it off, your tuition, or it was a lower tuition if you want to do affordable. So think about, what does that mean, affordable? Because, you can say I can't afford it. So it's, you can afford it, affordable, can, able, affordable, tuition, for college. Number 3 on the list was milk was brought to your home. Every morning there was the milkman, and he would leave it on the front door, your milk and butter and cream and whatever you ordered. And he would bring it every day. And I think eggs too. And then number 4 is a big backyard. If you look at older homes, they may be small, but the backyard in the back, you could say backyard, but you can say back like a house in the back. They were huge. And my husband's family home, where he grew up, the backyard is just huge, and the house is not real big. So now they take the same space, sometimes it's less, right, but it's a bigger home on it. So it's a smaller yard. You could say yard, garden, yard, than before, but sometimes not. Sometimes they're not too bad, and people have different their flowers, or a garden. I would say garden, right, because you're planting. So that's how I do it. But you can't. I've seen garden, yard. I've seen that as well. The next one, and number 5, is the doctor making a house call. Not calling, this is like to call on the telephone, but this is to call otherwise. So a house call. And I remember even when I was an adult, one time I went to the doctor and I didn't have time. I needed to pick up my kids or make dinner or something, and I couldn't stay at the doctor because I had this, this long waiting. And so I left and went home, and then when he left for the day, he stopped by my house to check, and I had an allergy. So anyway, but that is stopped now. They don't do that, I guess, unless you're, very rich and you have this doctor on call or whatever. So some people do that. So let's see. And number 6 is all the things in your kitchen did not break easy. They're called durable, and it's an appliance. So like the refrigerator lasted long time, stove lasted long time, and those things. And and your toaster. This is to toast, right? Because the old-fashioned toaster. So some people do, where you push it and it comes up. So that would last a longer time. So that we don't see that today. Number 7 is our gas prices were cheaper. That is true. And then number 8, they did have weekends where you were not tied to your cell phone. You'll see now we have our cell phone and our email, our laptops, and people were connected with their job. Or you could say work. If you don't want to spell job, J-O-B, job, you can say work. So now you're still kind of tied to your job. But back then, because they had just the phones that were, you hit the rotary dial, and they stayed at home, right? So you didn't have a cell phone, and so you had weekends without work interfering. And then here's an important one, is number 9, affordable housing. People can't really afford now to rent an apartment or to buy a house. It's really awful. The prices are really increased. So notice that I did increase in my base because it's a lot of increase. Not just increase, but increased, right? It's a lot. And number 10, cars that have, that are standard, you have manual transmission. So they don't have that as much anymore. I had one a few years ago still, and sometimes I enjoy driving it, but if I was kind of going into a garage where you're going up and you get your ticket, so you're at this angle, and that was kind of tough, trying to navigate that. Number 11 is for riding on the bus. Used to be a lot cheaper. Now it's more expensive. So people who can't afford a car sometimes still can't afford to ride the bus. So you get on it, on the seat, on the bench, and you ride it. Number 12, we had Coke or cold drinks, or however you want to say it. I call them Cokes, and that includes all soda pop or soda, whatever word you choose. They were in glass, and you take your kind of a modified X hand and you do it towards your teeth, and that was glass, or it is glass. So they had soft drinks, or I call them Coke, so soft drinks. We still have the tab, that is the sign, but so the soft drinks before were in glass bottles when you bought them. And number 13 is furniture that lasted a long time. So if you have, older furniture like from your grandmother or your great-grandmother, it's probably really good, well made, like my grandmother's furniture. It was very well made, and it still is there and is strong and good furniture, and it lasts a long time. Number 14 is that people could live on one income, and normally that was the husband, and the wife stayed home and she took care of the home and she took care of the children, and then you could live on just one income. And then later it became where you couldn't live without two. And sometimes people that are don't have a job where it pays a lot, then it still took two people to bring in money. But back then, like if the husband was in sales or insurance or worked at the bank or something like that, then they could live on one income. But you don't see that anymore today. And then yeah, number 15, this is I chuckled because it's books without a screen, without a screen or a screen, and you could read. The books were real paper. They didn't have them on the screen. Number 16 was local department. I do a D hand shape and do department store. We have a few, but they were like local, like was only in that town. And then they had the big chains, Penny and Sears, they got that. But then they would have those smaller ones that were not a chain. So you don't see those anymore for a department store that sold, everything in a different area or on a different floor. And number 17, affordable health care. Before, when I was self-employed, I couldn't afford to buy my own health insurance. It was just too expensive because larger companies they pay for part of that to be affordable. So many people who don't work at a place that has company sponsored, this is sponsored health care, it's not really affordable. But back then it was affordable. But even when I was a kid, I don't remember going to the doctor a lot. It's only if we were really sick, bad sick, and it was only a few times. But now people go to the doctor more because they have insurance. If they have insurance, they go more frequently. Number 18, children playing outside all the time. Your parents would say, go outside, go outside. And now they don't do that because there's too many things inside to do. And plus there's many people that are not so nice to children. And so it's harder to see children playing outside. Sometimes they'll go to the park. You could do park this way, or you can spell it because it's short, to the park with their families and friends, and they all kind of go as a group, and so that's really safer today anyway. Number 19, clothes were made to last. So the material was stronger, thicker probably, and so the clothes didn't wear out. You would pass them down to the sisters or even the brothers. They would share the same clothes. But now, the material is thinner, and so it doesn't last, long time. And so I did that in ASL. I said last long time. That's how you would sign it. You wouldn't say it probably, last longer or something like that. That's how you would say it. And number 20 was the roads were better. They didn't have all those potholes where you're going like this and where we have it now. So we had better roads that were taken care of better. And I think that has to do with taxes and where the money goes, and now you vote on like where you put your money, it's taxes. And I think before we had oil money that they would, the roads were taken care of from oil money, and now it's not. It's, it's put here and here and here where the money is. And this is the last one, number 21, face-to-face conversations. We don't have that as much anymore. We text. We do call, or we have like any type of like Duo or FaceTime or those Google, any kind of video calls. We have that, Zoom and Teams and whatever, but we don't have as much face-to-face. People aren't going to people's houses and visiting and chatting and having a little, like a card party or whatever, or meeting someone to have lunch or whatever. So there's less face-to-face conversations that we had more than before. So that is the list. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned some new signs or just remembered some signs that you have maybe not used. So anyway, enjoy, practice with your friends and your family, your deaf and your hearing friends, and people that may be nonverbal. Even if they can hear, maybe they can't communicate with their voice, and so they'll be able to communicate with their hands. So anyway, have fun, and I will see you later. Bye.